Tensions in the Middle East have reached a fever pitch as the United States officially began enforcing a full-scale naval blockade on Iranian ports in the Strait of Hormuz at 10 a.m. Eastern Time this Monday.
We have a lot of people, as you know, at 10 o'clock tomorrow, we have a blockade going into effect. That'll be 10 o'clock tomorrow. Other nations are working so that Iran will not be able to sell oil.
President Trump ordered the aggressive maneuver following the total collapse of peace talks with Tehran over the weekend, with U.S. Central Command deploying at least 17 vessels to the region to intercept, divert, or capture any unauthorized ships. Iran has swiftly condemned the move as piracy and is vowing a forceful response, a move that analysts fear could permanently shatter the region's fragile ceasefire. The escalation is drawing firm support from America's closest ally, with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declaring his full backing of the blockade order. Netanyahu revealed he spoke with Vice President Vance following the breakdown of negotiations in Pakistan, asserting that the explosion in talks was sparked by the U.S. side's refusal to tolerate Iran's continued closure of the strait during the ceasefire. Netanyahu emphasized that Israel remains in lockstep with the White House, praising President Trump's firm position against what he described as Iran's violation of the rules. The geopolitical standoff is already hitting the global economy as oil prices surged past $100 a barrel this morning. Market experts warn that while American consumers should brace for significant pain at the pump in the short term, the economic squeeze is being framed by supporters as a necessary cost to prevent Iran from achieving nuclear capabilities. Meanwhile, Vice President Vance has returned from Islamabad without a deal, but administration officials suggest the mission provided critical intelligence.
The bad news is that we have not reached an agreement, and I think that's bad news for Iran much more than it's bad news for the United States of America. So we go back to the United States having not come to an agreement. We've made very clear what our red lines are, what things we're willing to accommodate them on, and what things we're not willing to accommodate them on. And we've made that as clear as we possibly could, and they have chosen not to accept our terms.
Vance reportedly used the 21-hour marathon session to gauge Tehran's internal strategy, concluding that Iranian negotiators are operating under a delusion of leverage. The official word from the vice president's camp is that no agreement can be reached as long as Tehran overestimates its hand, leaving the U.S. to rely on naval force rather than diplomacy to dictate the next chapter of the conflict.